Another tournament means another week we're going to talk about the same issues we've been talking about all year. Well, for as little as we can at least. What's up guys, it's the Disc Golf World. I'm Jefferson, and alongside me, the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss Cheese, recapping everything you need to know from the Des Moines Challenge. Quick shout out to all our Patreon members supporting the channel. We wouldn't be able to do what we love without you guys, so thanks. Before Swiss hits you with the FPO recap, we gotta talk about Hailey King calling more foot faults. If you remember back to the Dynamic Discs Open a few weeks ago, during the aggregate playoff, Hailey made a questionable foot fault call that ended up getting overruled. Allegedly, she still stood by that decision after watching the replay, and it would happen again during round 2 this weekend. It was brought to our attention after a post made by Zach Melton wanting more details. Plenty of disc golf fans came to the rescue to try and fill Melton in on what happened. He would follow up with this post that explained Hailey called the foot fault. Owen then argued, even going on to call her rude. From the online detectives, it appeared that the call was made when Owen stepped on her disc during an upshot. Now, I don't know what specific point we're all talking about. However, from the amount of people saying it was obvious, I'm not going to push back too much. Especially when Zach comes out saying he watched the clip and Owen definitely stepped on the disc. These types of situations keep bringing into attention on how the dgpt will handle rulings like this moving forward. Will we continue to see missed calls, or will there be some sort of change moving forward in our sport? Let us know what you want to see in the comments down below, because I'm kind of tired of hearing commentators calling foot faults from the booth. Either be quiet or let's fix this. If you happen to be wondering what the fuck was going on with hole 5 besides all the park job rollaways into the water, the hive is what we need more of in disc golf. I'm not one to complain about the cheering creating all that noise, and if you are, why? Instead, I see a bigger group of fans sitting watching one hole cosplaying as Bessie from the Mighty Bee, creating a different atmosphere than most events that I've been able to be at. This year, my boy pulled out the entire Beekeeper fit with props and all. How could you not want to be part of this experience? But for real, do you guys see an issue with the rollaways? It's a part of the hole, and every player knows the obstacles. I'm just saying. Although, it does kind of seem tacky. While we're on the subject of the holes, how do you feel about the changes to hole 17? Brody Smith was excited to see the forced carry and feels more courses need to do this. There seeming to be some mixed reactions throughout the fans about the island being in the shape of Iowa. Honestly, if you're going to complain about this, you're just boring. Or Drew Gibson, I guess. Why can't we have any fun around here? How are we going to not acknowledge the arbitrary OB lines that are just thrown up, but then be upset about the artwork on the green? Gannon Burr would like a word with you guys. But for now, Swiss, hit the people with the FPO recap.
Heading into the challenge, the FPO action has featured 9 individual winners on the season thus far. And with the field missing 5 of the top 10 players in the world and nearly half of the top 22 in early Euro swing, the weekend was a promising opportunity for some of the younger players to not only make their presence known but shock the competition, a chance for some of the past winners who have yet to capture a victory on this season, while the biggest names attending with the highest ratings and the only 3 players in the field with wins on the season in Owen Scoggins, Missy Gannon, and Holland Hanley, instead looking to feast on a weaker player field. Day 1 had the worst weather conditions of the event, with adverse wind making scoring on the touchy course that much more difficult. Subsequently, the scores would be the lowest of the 3 days, but still showcased an ace from Lexi Marks, in her first DGPT Elite Series event, mind you, on the famous hole 5. Kat Mertz was a scooter away from looking like Oliver Tree, and Hailey King jumping out to an early lead with a 6-under round. The following day, instead saw some of the hottest scoring action arguably on the season, with a course record-setting performance from Owen, who would go on to score a 10-under bogey-free round that shot her to the top of the leaderboard and had her heading into the final day with a 3-stroke lead. Owen was unstoppable on the day, didn't miss from the circle, added 3 huge putts from distance, and certainly didn't allow her kicking the marker like she's messy on the pitch to break her focus in the slightest. Nor the drama of Hailey King being rude enough to actually call her on the foot fault. Hailey, who was heavily criticized for making the same exact call on Missy during their playoff at DDO, may have garnered some respect from fans while also making no friends on tour. At the very least, you have to respect her willingness to adhere to the rules of the game, the professionalism displayed in doing her part to govern the sport, and the nerves to make the call no matter the situation or player, despite her not getting a confirmation from anyone on the card in either of the situations. Either way, Owen's reaction to the call further goes to show why player governing just isn't the way of the sport's future. In other scoring action, right behind Owen, you had 9 under rounds from Natalie Ryan and Hanley, who was on pace for the lead and a course record performance of her own, till her her triple bogey on 17, her second triple bogey on that hole in back-to-back days. Right behind them, two teenage talents in Emily Weatherman and Eliezer Midling, with each scoring 8 under days. Eliezer, the projected Rookie of the Year candidate heading into the year after her throw pink performance last year, has taken a backseat to the 18-year-old and Team Lone Star's pre-ordered winner Weatherman, who in her first touring season has already had 3 top 10 finishes and a breakout podium at the DDO, which saw her from chase card push for a win, only halted with a late OB ruling, and is on the cusp of qualifying for the dgpt championship. Heading into the final day, 122 days since her first Elite Series event, 5 strokes off the lead, started off the round with a birdie on 1, and would play clean for the entire final day and for the last 35 holes of the tournament. And with Owen uncharacteristically losing her putt in one of those
do good, yeah, maybe more beer. If someday I play bad, maybe beer anyway.
Performance, would finish the round 1 over, setting a pattern as of late, as her worst performances has come on the final day for the past 6 events now. It would see Emily with a share of the lead by hole 11, looking to become the first chase card winner in an FPO Elite Series history, yet still had the course teeth remaining with every hole trending over par and 4 of the 5 most difficult holes left to play, along with previous tour stop winners in Ryan and Hanley on lead card with holes remaining. Weatherman, with the confidence of a winning vet, would birdie 3 of the remaining 4 holes, including the most difficult on the course in 17, and cap the round off with huge musket putts on the 2 final holes, both on circle's edge, while Hanley and Ryan would have costly late bogeys, nearly knocking them both off the podium altogether, opening the door for the other teenage talent, Eliezer, to climb her way onto her first Elite Series podium finish of her career, with a second place tie with Ryan at 15 under. As the youth movement in the game now has officially found its legs over on the FPO side of the sport. With this win and previous performances on the season, apart from an Eliezer World Championship, Emily has the Rookie of the Year locked down now. And now with the 10th individual winner on the season, even more excitement to see a complete field at an FPO event, something that is yet to happen on the season thus far.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Over on the MPO side, Matteo would find himself on top of the leaderboard after a 9 down, but it would be on day 2 when players started to really make moves. Adam Hammes jumped up 3 spots into the lead with a clean 14 under that would hold as the hot round for the tournament. Must have been the matching jerseys, as Anthony Barella would also find himself hopping up with a 12 under. Matteo not too far away with a 10 down of his own, holding on to a share of second place, 2 back of first. That lead would shrink early, as AB would be tied at the top after 4 holes, but he wouldn't stop there. He would start his round birdieing the first 7 for 7, which included a 63-foot putt on hole 4. He would end up taking the lead over on hole 6, but that wouldn't last long either, as Hammes would get birdies on holes 8 and 9 while AB would just get pars. For those that didn't know, going into this tournament, AB and Hammes head-to-head were 38-38 in competition. That must have been in the back of Barella's mind, as he would rattle off 4 straight birdies. But what really hurt was the bogey followed up with a double for Adam. That would end up being the final nail in the coffin. Although, he shouldn't be too pissed about a 4th place and his game looking at an all-time high. With the start he had, most thought AB was going to walk in the victory, and I'm not going to be one of those people that overhypes the bogey on 17. Mostly because that was the only one he had all weekend, but also because the dude still won by 2 strokes. That would be Anthony Barella's 4th win on the season, and everyone might want to talk about how far he can throw or how magical he is with that Luna, but he also went 31 for 33 from C1X. It seems he's back right in time for the redemption over at the European Open. Matteo held on to that second place with a 9 down, coming back from a slow start with a 4-hole birdie stretch right through the gauntlet to end his round. Rounding out the podium, hometown kid Gannon Bird tied for the hot round of the day. He went from an 8-hole birdie streak only to be broken up by a double on hole 17. How's that for scoring separation, Gannon? And that's everything you need to know from the Des Moines Challenge. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to stay up to date with everything disc golf as the DGPT heads overseas for the month of July. Don't worry, as the boys will be at Ledgestone when the tour's back to the States, so stay tuned for more over at the Disc Golf World.